Well, today I've got a big job planned. I have a big job to do in my little tiny van here. But first, coffee. So my top priority today is to get some cleaning done. I've got quite a bit of dirt and sand and everything else in here, so van needs a good cleaning. And really that is not the major thing I want to get done, but it is always a good thing to do just to stay on top of the cleaning. So big amount of cleaning today, but the other thing is I want to get a new rug put in my van. So I did buy something as a rug. I went to buy a rug, didn't buy a rug. I'll show you what that is later. The other thing is I really need to get some space in the van here. So you can see I'm quite packed, and a lot of the stuff is superfluous, I think. So I'm going to need to make some decisions today on what I want to keep and what I want to throw out. Coffee is a good idea, but I should probably make some breakfast too, just to give me a little extra energy to keep me going. So yesterday I par-cooked some potatoes, just some little mini red potatoes, and cooled them down, got them in this little silicone bag, and I intended to have these with some eggs, but I forgot to buy eggs. So I'll just chop these up, fry them up in my pan a little bit with some butter, and maybe a little olive oil too, because I like that flavor on potatoes. And maybe some cheese as well. I've got some cheddar cheese. Don't have much else to put in with these since I forgot to buy eggs, but we'll make do. This would be fine. So these potatoes are par cooked, and then now I'm just frying them off in some butter and olive oil, a little bit of salt. And I just want to get a little color on them to give them a little extra flavor. And that will be my burrito, my breakfast burrito this morning. I also have a little tiny bit of cheese here. Yeah, it's a little more cheese than maybe I should have, but since I forgot to buy the eggs, the cheese will be my protein. All right, I've got my potatoes and my cheese in my tortilla that I warmed up on my flame here. And then I forgot I have some of this avocado tomatillo salsa. I don't know if you can see that, by Chosen Foods. Really good stuff. It's a little bit like a thin guacamole, but the tomatillos give it a little extra flavor. But it's basically like a little thin guacamole is what it is. It's not spicy, but doesn't need to be, because I've got some Yellowbird Serrano that I will add in here. And, you know, not the best breakfast, I guess, but certainly not the worst. Okay, now that I'm done with breakfast, I've got to get to cleaning, and I'm going to start with the floor, because that's where most of the dirt and the grime are. So that means I've got to get everything out of here that is sitting on the floor. So everything under the bed, and there's a lot. I'm just going to take it and set it down on the ground outside. Also my fridge, got to get that out. I'm going to try to get the rug that I have here in place out so that I can get a good shaking and sweep. Hopefully I get most of the dirt out that way, and then I can sweep the floor out as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a job. Then I can fit the new rug that I bought that's not actually a rug. But we'll get to that. I've got a lot of cleaning to go. Luckily, I've got quite a bit of coffee left too, so that'll keep me going. Well, taking a look at this carpet is in such bad shape, I'm not even going to try to clean it. I've got my scissors. I'm just going to cut it, rip it out of here, and throw it out. I've got the new sort of rug, so I shouldn't need this. I think it's served its purpose. I knew it was dirty and it was well timed to get cleaned up in here, but I didn't realize just how bad it was. This is just indoor-outdoor carpeting that you can buy at the home center, and because there's no backing on it, you can see all the dirt just goes right down through it and onto the floor of the van. So probably a good time I'm taking care of this, although probably should have done this sooner from the looks of it. But getting it all out now. Okay, I've got the old carpet out. Have done a quick sweep of the area. I need to do another one, but not feeling so motivated because I'm out of coffee, so coffee time. Okay, coffee. This is probably too hot to drink. I'm going to try it anyway. Yeah, too hot to drink. I'm going to let this sit for a second. Okay, so I've got to clean up the floor a little bit more. I just did initial cleaning on it, and I'm going to do another sweep and wipe everything down with vinegar. Something I like to do every spring, just wipe everything down with vinegar, just in case there's some mold spores or something around. I think it's the best thing to use. I don't use bleach so at all in anything, so the vinegar works good for me. So once I get the floor finally done and clean, I will install my new rug. I was going to go buy some more of that indoor-outdoor carpeting that I had down that I just threw out, but it was going to be about $30 for a roll of it from Home Depot or Lowe's, and I just decided, thinking about it just seems like it wears out kind of quickly, and especially now that I'm seeing just how much dirt kind of filters through it, I'm happy with my new choice, which is a yoga mat. So I bought this at TJ Maxx. It was $16.99, so less than $20. What I like about this is it is some type of rubber. The packaging here says that it's some kind of synthetic rubber. We'll see how it holds up, and I think the texture of this means that, well, for one, I'm not going to get that dirt and sand filtering through it like the old rug did, and I'll get a little bit of insulation from it. So it seems like it's a good choice. What I don't like about it is it's not very wide, so it's not going to be as long as my bed back here either, but that part I'm okay with. I don't mind that it doesn't reach all the way back to the back of the van, but being that it's only this wide, I think it's 24 inches, if I'm correct. Now I've forgotten. Yeah, 24 inches wide, so since I've only got 2 feet of it, and I've got more than 2 feet here, I am going to have to cut it a little bit, so I'm not too happy about that. But I think the pros outweigh the cons on this, and we'll see how it goes here. Well, there's one other thing about this yoga mat that I didn't really like, and that is the colors of it. Purple and pink are not really my thing, but it wasn't an issue because I was thinking I was gonna put it under the rug there. So see, I left some of the rug still there, but I threw out this part. Well, now that I'm looking at this, not crazy about it. So not the color that I really like, but I think either way, this is a big improvement over what I had. At least it's cleaner, right? So it's all better, I think. And I do have some scatter rugs that I can throw over top, so I won't have to be looking at the pink or purple quite so much. Well, this is actually working out. I've got these 2 rugs here that cover up all this, so I don't have to see the purple or pink. And then I've just got a little space back there. I've got another rug back there in the back. And so that just leaves me this little space here. So I can just stop at a dollar store at some point and get another little rug to fill in that spot. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. So while the floor is going well, I unfortunately have noticed I've got some damage to some of the plywood that holds up my tabletop here. It's mostly on the sink side, and the reason for that is I often spill water when I'm filling up my jug that my water pump pulls water out of. So I knew that was going to be an issue at some point because I do spill a lot of water there. This other side is pretty good. Looks like a little bit of dry rot on it, but it'll need to be replaced in the future. So I'm going to have to look at this and decide what I'm going to do. I don't want to tackle that today because the next thing I need to do once I get all this stuff put back together, get everything put back under the bed, get the fridge back inside, plug back in. I want to tackle this here. I've got a lot of clothes that I don't wear. Some of them need to go. So I need to get all this back together and get to the second part of my job. I also have a third part that is a little bit of appliance repair. So I want to get to that too. So yeah, this will have to wait for another day. I can also think about what I'm going to do to fix that. Well, I got busy doing so many little cleaning things and finding little corners of the van that needed extra attention that I forgot to eat lunch. So I'm going to make a quick sandwich, and that would be a grilled cheese sandwich if you're new here, because that's what I eat often. Actually, I haven't had any bread for quite a while, but I finally picked up some bread. Hopefully it's not moldy. I stopped buying bread because it seemed like every time I would buy it, I could never get through it. This has been sitting for a few days. Oh, it looks good. Okay, grilled cheese it is. Oh, I'm almost out of cheese. This is a scary moment. I usually keep a couple of blocks of cheese on hand at all times. This may look like a bit of cheese to you, but this is all I have left, and I usually keep a lot more. So I guess I got to put that on the list. Trying to stay out of the grocery store. I should probably actually make a list, because that's my issue, is I never make a list and then I get in the grocery store and I forget stuff. But I don't like to make a list, because if I get into the grocery store and they don't have what I need, then I get kind of discombobulated. So I usually just make my grocery list on the fly, buy whatever looks good, and do my meal plan that way. But every once in a while I forget to stock up on staples, and cheese is definitely a staple for me. Well, that sandwich is good and all, but you know what would be really good right now? A cup of coffee. That's good. I needed a cup of coffee. I'm going to set that aside while I work on my next project here. I have loads and loads of t-shirts. Too many, in fact. The reason I have a bunch is I just figure, since I already own them, why would I get rid of them? If I needed more t-shirts, I don't have to buy them since I already have them. The other thought was, this keeps me out of the laundromat. If I need some fresh clothes, I got plenty of t-shirts on hand. Problem is, I don't ever wear the ones at the bottom of my cabinet here, because they're all old work t-shirts, and one, they're pretty ratty, they're torn up and kind of threadbare, and two, being that they're old work t-shirts, they're all stinky too, which is not good for a number of reasons. So instead of keeping them, I think I'm going to go through and any of the old t-shirts that are just not good for anything, I'm going to get rid of. And that will give me a little more space in my cabinet here. One of the things I've thought about is that I kind of wished I'd made this cabinet a little different. But it's okay. It's doing its job. It's just probably would hold a little bit more if I made it with just a little different dimensions. I don't want to make a new cabinet, but what I can do to give myself a little more space is just make a little room. So I'm going to get rid of these shirts that I don't need, and this should be an easy job. Well, I said this is going to be a really easy job, but it's a little bit like deciding which finger you aren't going to really need all that much. And, you know, I kind of look at my fingers here and I think like, well, this finger I'm probably going to need in the near future, so that one's got to stay. And, you know, you kind of go down the line that way. But I did manage to make quite a bit of space here. You might not be able to see that quite so well because most of my t-shirts are black, but I can show you the big pile here. That's a lot of t-shirts, so that's a lot of extra space that is going to be useful for storing other things. I was hoping to keep some of these as towels and cleaning rags and things, but they're all stinky, so I think I'm just going to unfortunately have to toss them out. Well, at some point I need to do the same thing with my jeans. I've got a bunch of jeans that are under the pants that I normally wear here. I normally wear these cargo pants just because I carry a lot of stuff nowadays. So I kind of like these better than the jeans, and the jeans take longer to wash, longer to dry when I do go to the laundromat. So probably will get rid of some of those, but before I get rid of those, I think I'm going to try them on first because I'm pretty sure most of the jeans are decent up here. I've thrown out most of my old work jeans because they were even worse than the old t-shirts. They were just tore up really, really bad. But we'll leave that to another day. Okay, feeling pretty good. I got a few things accomplished. Maybe not as many things accomplished as I would have liked, but that's just the way things go. I've got a lot more stuff to sift through, not just my jeans, but I've got a bunch of stuff that's under the bed that I want to sift through and try to see if I can get rid of some of it. I just need space. I want a little extra space. I will take up a ton of space for food storage, but for other things I just don't think it's quite that necessary. So that'll be something I'll be doing in the next few days. But I want to turn my attention to something else now, which is this. So about a year ago I bought a rice cooker, and I immediately broke it. I used it a few times, and then I broke it. This is a pretty nice rice cooker. I don't use anything that has a non-stick surface in it. I searched around and found a rice cooker that has just a stainless steel bowl and no non-stick anything on it. And I had to order it. I ordered it from Amazon. I tried to find one around the area I was in at the time a year ago, and nobody sold them with just a stainless steel bowl that I could find. So gritted my teeth and ordered from Amazon. Now I want to be clear here in that I broke this. It didn't have anything to do with the quality of the device here. Aroma makes really good rice cookers. We used a lot of these in the restaurant I worked at for years, and they lasted longer than anything else, and we used these several times a day. I mean, they cooked a lot of rice. We went through a lot of rice in the restaurant that I worked at, so quite familiar with this brand. Now, those were bigger rice cookers, but they were still made by Aroma, so I know the quality is pretty good on them. The problem, though, is I was using this incorrectly in that I was trying to cook a cake in this. Now that's something that you can do. Lots of people do it, but as I have never done it before, I wasn't real sure about times and things, and so I was trying to keep this on cook for as long as possible. And so what I did was I took one of these spring clamps and I clamped down the cook button here so it wouldn't reset. And that worked for a little bit. My cake was starting to come together, and just as I was starting to think, hey, maybe I should take that clamp off, fuse blew inside the rice cooker and it went kaput. Now these have what's called a thermal fuse in them, and I just need to buy another thermal fuse and put it in, and this will be working. But being that I couldn't find a thermal fuse from anybody but Amazon, I just couldn't bring myself to actually order one. Actually, now that I think about that, I did order one from Amazon, but that shipment never showed up. I ordered a couple of things and never got delivered. So technically I did order one, but that was another little annoyance there for me. Didn't want to order from Amazon to begin with. Then when I did, never showed up. So they did give me my money back. They apologized for it, and they just said that that happens sometimes when United States Postal Service does some of their deliveries. Things just disappear. So they were good about it, but I didn't want to order another one. Now, I was talking to my dad, and he told me that he would just put just a piece of wire across and not even buy another thermal fuse. And so I am going to listen to my dad and just do that. Now, if you are going to try to tell me that I'm doing something wrong or I'm doing something dangerous, don't tell me. Go ahead and just call my dad and tell him that he's doing something wrong and that he shouldn't do that. Yeah, for me, I'm just going to listen to Dad. To do the repair, we just have two screws, one here and one over here, and then we can take this back access panel off, and the repair itself should be pretty simple. Okay, I found a spare bit of wire out of my electrical bag. This is one of those things I'd like to go through and get rid of some stuff out of it, but times like this I'm glad I have spare stuff around. So I'm going to crimp this on the end here, and not sure what size I'm going to need, so I'm going to do this one side at a time. This way it makes it easier for me to kind of line up and see how much wire I'm going to need with the crimp on here. Okay, pay no attention to my bad crimp job here. It looks like I've got that just about right. Well, my fix here is not very pretty, but I think it's going to work. What do you think? Do you think I'm going to have rice for dinner tonight, or do you think we're going to see sparks? Okay, here's the moment of truth. Turn on my power station here, and it looks like it's working. I guess we're going to have some rice tonight for dinner. Well, up until recently, this wasn't a big priority for me to get fixed because I was up in the Pacific Northwest where it didn't have a lot of sun, and I just didn't have enough power to run this. But now that I'm back in the land of sunshine, in other words, down south, figured it's probably time to get this going. And it's kind of nice just to be able to load up a rice cooker and not have to worry about it. It just does its thing and gives you perfectly cooked rice, if you got it measured out, I guess, properly, which I think I did. I'm not used to using a rice cooker. I normally just throw rice in a pan and cook it, but it's pretty nice here. And also, this is saving me on propane because I just realized with the cleaning today that I'm getting low on propane, so might as well use the electric and solar power while I've got it. While the rice is cooking, I'm going to turn my attention to some vegetables. I have some frozen vegetables from my freezer here. Broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, zucchini, and yellow squash. So look good, and it was kind of something that I like to keep in my freezer for times that I don't have any fresh vegetables. I guess you could call these fresh vegetables, sort of, kind of. But yeah, they are pretty frozen, so gonna need to thaw these out. And I should have plenty of time while the rice is cooking away. I forgot I have fresh peas in the freezer too, so I'm going to add some of those. These really are my favorite vegetable. They're really versatile. You can just snack on them as is, straight out of the bag. You really can. Or throw them in with whatever other veg you've got. Or if you heat these up and put a little bit of vegetable broth or chicken broth, whatever is your preference, blend it up. It makes a really good soup. Super easy too. Peas are great. Food's flying everywhere. I am really out of practice doing this. So the rice is done. It just clicked on to warm, so I know it's finished cooking. And I'm just going to leave that sit for a minute. And I find this interesting. This was pulling consistently 245 watts. It's now down to 16 watts since the rice cooker is just on its keep warm setting, but used a little bit more power than I was expecting. The OPES is down to 82%, so that's still pretty good. And of course I can charge this right back up tomorrow pretty easily because it's supposed to be a nice sunny day, I think, anyway. But yeah, happy to have a lot of power to run this, but yeah, these rice cookers take a little more power than I anticipated when I was looking at these and considering these. I'm still happy I have it, but it does use quite a bit of power. Okay, here's my dinner, my vegetarian dinner tonight. Because it's vegetarian, I've added some nutritional yeast on top, just so I can keep up on my B vitamins. It's really important that I need to do. So, oh, and then I added some tamari, and I really like this brand. It was on sale, so I splurged a little bit, but it was not too bad since it was on sale. And tamari is just wheat-free soy sauce, which I think is a little more traditional. And I like the flavor of this brand too. So Sanjay, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Somebody will tell me, I'm sure. You can correct me. Well, that's my day. I'm going to wind down here since it's after dinner. And not the most exciting day. Sorry I didn't take you out and show you around, but just in the desert here. So, you know, it's pretty boring. It's just, you know, sun and sand and nice warm temperatures. Pretty awful, you know, to have to deal with. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. You know what I could really use right now? It's a cup of coffee. Yeah, I need a cup of coffee. I've been good today. Haven't had too much. I'm gonna make a cup.